And at the time, man, I was unemployed. I had retired from acting 2 years prior, and I was working in group fitness. I worked for a health club, and I was an instructor. But COVID in Chicago, man, it shut all that down.
I'm back on the road. I'm back on the road. I'm back in that mode. In the trap with them bows, yeah. Can't sell a hold and I'm breaking it down long as package get sold, yeah. Beefing with Chef on the phone cause they put a 10 pack on the hole, yeah. But I just took a 8 out of Wells. Heard it plucks in the play through the mill. Quarterback making plays in the field. Got my weight up on niggas, I'm breaking the scale. I put that pen in for real. Came from the mud and they hearing me still. So I
check out the Wrong Agenda podcast.
This is the Wrong Agenda podcast.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Just Dale, and welcome back to the Wrong Agenda podcast. If this is your first time, it's a great time to be here. We got a very, very special guest. You might know him as JP on the new hit show, Power Book Force. And Anthony Fleming III, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, brother. Glad to be here. How you doing? Talk to me.
I'm doing good. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad we was able to make this happen. And I know it's been a long road these last few months. How are you dealing with everything? How are you feeling?
Oh, man, mashed potatoes and gravy. It's fantastic. You know, I can't ask for nothing more better. We shot the first season here in Chicago, which is the city where I'm from and where I live. So I was getting up every morning and going into my backyard and shooting this fantastic series. And the response from the Power universe has been tremendous. I mean, the fans of this show, I mean, you know, fans, there are fans and then there are Power fans because they are vocal and we love it. They have invested so much time and energy into the story and into these individual characters, especially Tommy Egan. And for the fans to be able to see this brother Tommy rebuild himself in Chicago in real time, it's fantastic, man, indeed.
That's amazing. That's amazing to be able to work in your hometown. If I'm correct, Joseph Sakura, who plays Tommy, is also from Chicago, correct?
He is, man. He's a Chicago son. He's actually lived in New York longer than he's lived in Chicago. But
oh, really? I'm from New York.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
Yeah, from Queens, man. Shout out to Queens.
Okay, yeah. He's a New York cat now. But Chicago, you know, we always going to claim him. And that's where him and I met. You know, him and I did theater together many years together. So we've been on stage together and have done shows. And to be able to work with him again and for us to play brothers is a dream, man, because you can't fake that, you know, 25 years of knowing somebody and, you know, challenging somebody on stage or on screen. So that dynamic and that energy and that vibe between us, you know, I hope it's reading. I hope it continues to read, and you'll see more of that as the story continues to unfold.
All right. Yeah, for sure. It's coming across well. So with that being said, when did he know that you were joining the Power team? Since you guys knew each other prior, what was that like? Did you just spring it on him like, hey, see you on set? Did he know way before? How did that go about?
No, man, it's actually a pretty cool story. He reached out to me, you know. We would keep in touch with each other over the years. If he came to Chicago, if I was in the show, he'd come see the show. Or when he came back to do theater, I would go check him out. But, you know, about 4 months or so before we began filming, he called me out the blue, man, and was like, yo, there's this role on the show that I think you would be great for. And he was like, do you mind if I give your phone number to one of the EPs? And at the time, man, I was unemployed. I had retired from acting 2 years prior. And I was working in group fitness. I worked for a health club and I was an instructor. But COVID in Chicago, man, it shut all that down. So I was actually furloughed out of work. And here's Tommy Egan calling me like, yo, you want to do this show? Can I give you a number? And I was like, most definitely give my number to that cat, you know. But then he called me a few minutes later, this producer from New York on FaceTime. And it was just like, you know, Joseph speaks very highly of you and y'all's relationship. So that started the ball rolling, and I had to audition about 7 times, maybe a little bit more, you know, to finally secure the role. So he was definitely a big part of that process. So, you know, he was there for that. And he actually, my wife and him are friends because we all used to work
Mhm.
together too in a nightclub when he was here in Chicago.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we were both we were bouncers together.
Wow.
And
Look at
yeah,
that.
look at that. And him and my wife, who worked there as a server, they've remained friends. So he actually texted her when I finally got it. He was like, "Yo, buy a bottle of champagne." And I saw her reaction to getting the text, and I was like, "What? What?" And she showed it. She showed it to me, and that was it, man. And that was like December 2020, and then we started filming in February 2021.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Be good to good people and good people be good to you, man. That's a
Hey, that's it,
classic
baby.
story. So yeah, it's funny that you said you guys worked in the club together because JP actually in
Yeah.
Power has a jazz club. Are you familiar with jazz? Are you into jazz? Is that your
Oh
type of thing?
man, jazz is my favorite music. My father, who I was very close to, and he was my hero growing up, he was a big jazz cat, and he always played, vinyl in the house, man. So growing up, I heard, I was into my music, of course, as well, but I grew up with Miles and Coltrane and
Mm.
Sonny Rollins and Chet Baker and Art
Oh yeah.
Blakey and Dizzy and Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, all these jazz musicians. And real story, I don't know in New York, but you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yes, definitely.
When I was a shorty, I used to watch that. And at the end of the show, after he took off the cardigan and the sneakers and he was leaving, they always played jazz. And as a kid, it just always resonated
Connected.
with me. Yeah, like the outro music to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It was like piano and the stand up, real basic, but I loved it. I loved the feeling and the vibe of it. And, I've always continued. It's always been my favorite music. So to have a jazz club that I own in the show here in Chicago with my
Yeah.
dad, because Herman is my father on the show, played by Cedric Young, a Chicago actor as well. We own this jazz club. And in my wildest dreams, I would have loved to own a jazz club with my dad. So it's like living out this dream, on the Power Book 4 set.
So would you say that? How much of JP is actually Anthony? Like how much are you in part of that character? Because it seems like you got a lot of connections.
I do, man. A lot of this cat resonates with me. There's certain roles as an actor that you get that you feel in your bones, even before it's fully developed or realized. There's just something that draws you to this person. I've played other roles that have had the same effect on me. I played Fred Hampton, who was a real person. He was a Black Panther back in the day. But my first play was actually portraying Fred Hampton, and I had this really strong connection to him because that was my father's era, and I grew up hearing those stories, especially in Chicago, about the Black Panther Party and the movement back in the day. So I connected with that cat. I played Levy on stage once in August Wilson's Fences, who was another jazz musician. He was a cornet player. He's one of one of our most revered playwrights in the African American community. Levy is one of those roles. If you ask a lot of brothers who have played him, he's a role that stays with you. It's hard to shake that role. And JP as well. There's a lot of myself in the character, and I drew from a lot of personal experience, I would say, in crafting and shaping this role.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see that. I see you around on the internet. You seem pretty smooth, and JP seems like a smooth guy. So I was like, you
Yeah,
know what? That seems like him. And if it's not, it's incredible acting either way. you know.
my
So
man.
um leading up to the premiere,
Yeah.
before the first episode came out, were you nervous at all that if the show wasn't going to measure up to all the hype? Because it's a lot of hype. I mean, this is Tommy here, his own
Yeah.
show. Like everyone was waiting for this. How does it feel going into that first episode?
There was no fear at all because I knew the hard work that everybody put into this, starting with the leader of the guy driving the car, Joseph Sikora. I knew the hard work that the cast and this crew put into the work every day. I mean, it was such an honor to come to work and to work with artists of this caliber. And we all know the responsibility of this show. There's a lot of responsibility when you have a hit show, a show that a lot of people vibe with, because you got to put out, a banging story. You got to keep it going. You got to keep people interested. You got to keep flushing out these characters, and unfolding this story in a way that people connect to, because at the end of the day, man, it's all storytelling. So I was very confident that people were going to dig this story. What I was not nervous about is that, when you do this thing as an actor, you work in a vacuum a lot of the times, so you do what you do and then you don't really see it. Like, you don't see it until it come out next year.
Right.
So I just wanted to see it, man. I wanted to see the work of all the other actors who I wasn't in scene with, I just wanted to see how it was going to be all put together. And then, the premiere was in New York at this dope venue. We all, because of COVID, we all were in these like individual igloo type situations with our guests and our friends and families. But everyone who saw it for the first time, just their reaction to it, man, was everything. And to see my city portrayed in that way, I watched the premiere on Starz with my family in my living room, all Chicago cats. And the first opening scene, which is that sweep of our lakefront, man, just instinctively in unison, everybody just lifted their glass and we just took this big breath of like, yo, that's our city. Look at it, and to be able to do that, man, that means everything, because Chicago needs to get more love because there are so many dope actors and artists in general that come out of Chicago who everybody watching this and other programs, they know and love. It's like, yo, that cat started in Chicago, or that cat worked or got his chops in Chicago. That's how we do here. So to showcase our city in this way and have it so connected to Tommy's story, for him to be able to come here and rebuild himself in a city that is known for rebuilding and reimagining itself, it's fantastic, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Well, congratulations, because to put it mildly, it did pretty good.
We did I. We doing I.
And just recently to get to announce that second season on the way, man. That's exciting.
Yo,
I know
thanks,
that has to be something. Congratulations with that. And
man,
I'm glad
seasoned twice.
Yeah, I'm glad I get to say it here now and see, like, congratulations on that. And I can't wait.
Thanks, brother.
To see where that goes.
Yeah, man.
Just a little more on you and Joseph's thing. And when did you find out that you were actually playing his brother? Did you know that beforehand, or was that something they sprung on you later? Because that's that was a big reveal for episode 1. I watched it with a bunch of people, and it was like, so.
Yeah. And I'm glad it was episode 1, so I didn't like have to hold on to that until episode 6 or whatever. But yeah, I knew early on, and to be able to, I just knew the impact. I knew the impact it was going to have in the Power universe for Tommy to leave everything behind in New York and come to Chicago and, just to kind of patch up some old wounds. But he ends up uncovering that he has family here. And for the lovers of the show, we know how much family means to Tommy. He's always craved that family connection, be it with, Ghost and his family, Teresi, his mother, Holly, and everyone who he's ever loved like that. He's lost them or he's pushed them away. And some of those people he's lost by his own hand. So for him to come to Chicago and find out that, he's got this brother and they have this shared history together that neither one of them remembers, and to have them uncover that and make those realizations in real time, it's great, man. And I think it just lends itself to some fantastic storytelling. And we get to see Tommy in a way that I think that the Power fans have never really seen him, as he rebuilds, as he tries to find out what his next move is. He's got to take a step back and find out where he came from, before you can go forward. Sometimes you got to go backward.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And not only where he came from, JP, man, I feel like there's a lot we don't know about this guy. He's tatted up. He has a jazz club. Yeah. Things are going on. I feel like there's a lot deep down in there. I can't wait to see how this all pans out. I know you can't wait to see how it all pans out.
yeah, man. There's a lot to this cat. And things is never just one way, There's many different levels. This cat is multifaceted, very layered. And there's a lot in common. He has a lot in common with his brother, and it's going to be cool for us all to see what those things are and to see how they continue to vibe or not. Is Tommy going to pull him in, or is Tommy going to push him away?
Yeah.
So that's yet to be seen.
All right. Just a little bit more in the background.
Yeah, man.
Did you watch all of the other seasons of Power to prepare when you're getting into this role? Did you watch them before, during, or?
No, man. I watched them all in about, it felt like a couple of weeks. I marathoned the show because while I was familiar with it, when it dropped back in the day, I think 2014 is when the first season came out. I knew Joseph, so I knew of the show, and everybody talks about Power, of course, but I never really watched it. It was just on that list, and we all got them, of shows that you should watch, but you're not watching. So it was on that list for me. And but when I got cast in the show, immediately, got Starz and just started watching them all, man. It was like 65 episodes or something, and just really got drawn in. Of course, I was doing research, it was work in a lot of respect, but I just got drawn into the story and the storyline. I kept finding myself watching the next episode because I was pulled in. I wanted to see what happens next with these cats, And now here we go. Tommy's pulling up in my city, and it's a whole new Tommy. And it's a whole new city. It's kind of the same Tommy doing his thing.
But it's a new space.
A new space that he's got to learn and he's got to maneuver. And I say sometimes that it's from one of my favorite movies, actually, with Denzel, called Man on Fire. And Christopher Walken delivers a line, and he says, a man can be an artist at whatever he does. It just depends on how good he is at it. And Tommy, as we all know, he's a fantastic gangster. So he's coming into Chicago, and he's about to paint his masterpiece here,
Yeah. I see it.
Man.
Another thing about you, I think you kind of into sneakers a little bit.
I am, man. I am into sneakers.
A little bit of sneakerhead. I don't want to put you on the spot of how many sneakers you might own, but let's just say you got some decent amount.
Yeah, I got a decent amount. I could wear a different pair of shoes every day of the year, and I'll be all right.
That's amazing.
So like that.
What do you have a favorite sneaker?
I'm I collect all different kinds, my focus sometimes has been on vintage running shoes from Adidas and the vintage basketball shoes. But I got Jordans, I got a lot of brands. But my favorite shoe, man, is probably the Adidas Pro Model, which in a timeline, because I love the history of sneakers and basketball sneakers. The Pro Model came out before the Superstar, which everybody knows. Right. But the Pro Model didn't do very well back in the day. It came out in like 68. So they stripped it down, took some of the design elements from the Pro Model, like the shell toe, and they put it on the Superstar, which we know, Run DMC.
Yeah,
it's so Queens, popular.
Man. I'm from that area.
Queens, so
I'm from
man.
Specific. So yeah, I
know the business, man. And what they did, when you talk about inspiration because it just seems like today, a lot of people, your mom's mom is into sneakers, and knows something about sneakers. Everybody's into sneakers, man. But when you think about capturing a moment, man, it was Run back in the day at the concert at MSG, holding up that Superstar, and seeing everybody in the crowd hold up their Superstar, and just connecting that street culture, hip hop. Run DMC was Adidas's first collab, with a music artist. It was their first endorsement. Was with Run, and they've been a part of the Adidas Superstar for like 36 years or so of the 50-year history of the shoe. So, Adidas for me in Pro Models and Superstars, it's like it's the inspiration for the way sneaker culture is today.
And you know your sneaker history. We
kind of do.
We need your sneaker out there now, man.
Yeah.
Think it's time, man.
Adidas, if you watching, man. Stripes for life, baby. It's all about that 3-stripe life.
All right, we're just gonna run in because I know you got a super busy day, and I know you've been working hard. We're gonna
take your time. We just chopping it up,
We're gonna run into something I like to do at the end of my shows. Is like a this or that thing, just some quick questions to get to know you, just general things about you, So ain't no wrong answers because it's all how you feel. So what's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Bread.
Bread?
Bread, man.
What kind of bread?
so many different kinds, man. Hawaiian bread, sourdough, marble rye.
Oh, okay, the good
I just
stuff.
like bread, son. I mean, it's terrible, but it's true.
You like bread? And you doing fitness? Like,
I know. That's why I do fitness. I got to work off all this damn bread.
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right,
Yeah.
let's go into cars. You rather speed or luxury?
Luxury. Even if I had a speed whip, I'd be like luxury.
Luxury.
Yeah, growing up, man, my old man drove a Lincoln town car.
Oh,
So you chilling in a Lincoln.
all right, all right. I definitely
Yeah.
feel that. I definitely feel that. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
Fly.
Why?
Yeah, to fly, man.
Yeah. You're soaring through the air seems like the way to go.
Yeah, man. I did climbing mountains. I like mountain climbing. I've in the last couple of years, I've been able to take some trips and climb some mountains. I mean, ain't nothing like that elevation. So if I could fly, that'd be something. That'd be dope.
Something different. All right. Anyone you could work with that you haven't yet worked with?
Oh, good question, man. I would say you talking about actor wise?
Um, we could talk actor, music, whatever avenue you want to go to, whatever works for you. Just
Wow.
someone you would like to work alongside or work with in any industry.
I would say Denzel. Denzel is always someone who I've kind of looked up to in my career growing up, and I've always, gravitated towards his movies and his performance in certain movies. So I would say Denzel, to be able to work with Denzel and to learn from Denzel, because that's all this thing is about, man, is to continue learning and growing as an artist. So I think I would learn so much from just working alongside that brother.
Okay. Got one more for you. It should be
Come on.
really easy. What's the best show for everyone to catch on Sunday, every Sunday?
Without a doubt, 100%. It's got to be Power Book 4 Force, baby, on the Starz network. Starz app, you could check it out Saturday at midnight, 11 p.m. in my area. You know what I'm saying? Or check it out Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Starz, Power Book 4 Force is the show that everybody's talking about, the show you don't want to miss. Come pull up, check it out.
Yeah. And if you're not up to date, catch up because it's getting good. It's getting
Indeed.
good. It's
Indeed.
getting good. All right, man. Thank you for your time. You breezed through everything, no problem. Tried to stump you with a question. Denzel one was probably the hardest one, but you ate right through it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you. You didn't know what I was gonna ask coming into here. You did it just straight up like a G, just took it down. So yeah, man. Everybody make sure y'all check out Power, as he said, every Sunday. Anthony Fleming, JP Gibbs. Shout out to Starz and everybody over there who helped make this happen. And
For sure.
appreciate y'all. And that's a wrap.